Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Season 5, Episode 5. It's called Rewind. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, our last episode before the Christmas break, which consists of 1 week off, so we're back in the first week of January, so it's not a long break at all. But
I'm more than okay with that.
It's a fine break. And, of course, we ended the last episode with the revelation of Fitz showing up in the future. Now, of course, we debated, is this real Fitz? Is this LMD Fitz? We had a few ideas. And if it is real Fitz, how is it real Fitz? And the answer's not actually that complicated, I feel like.
No, they threw me for a misdirect in the previously on, because the first thing they show in the previously on is LMD Sky. Yes. And you're making a point of going, no, LMDs are a thing. So it's like, okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah. But no, that's not how we go. So we'll get to that, obviously, as we go through it. But this was a Fitz episode. This picks up the moment they all get taken in the diner, and from his perspective, they just all vanish, because he's not aware that time's frozen. It's almost like the Flash, where he comes in and does something, and then it's like...
Yeah, it's not until they check the time. It reminds me of going all the way back to the very first episode of S.h.i.e.L.D. where I think it got good. The one on the train, where they
You're
freeze
right,
the time.
yeah. That was the thing in that episode, yeah.
That was the turning point for the show for me as well, that episode, and I think for a lot of people.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the same tech that's evolved over the last few years. It could be. So we have his story, we have Fitz's story, and there's actual people who come in right after and arrest him. Like the people who they were expecting to show up and arrest him actually do, and he's taken away to prison, and he's there for 6 months. It's a little borderline depressing watching Fitz be in prison, and everyone's like, what were your friends? How did you help them escape? And he's like, I don't know, and he's desperate to want to know, because he's terrified. He's like, he wants to know where they are. Where's Simmons? Where's the whole gang? He wants to know. And we have this whole montage of him. He's trying to figure out. He's just reading books and books and books, trying to think of the reason.
Reading books and watching football.
Yes, he was doing that too. And he's writing out hidden messages. I mean, I knew it was a hidden message he was writing out in those fan letters. Course.
It was the only thing it could be. It made no sense otherwise.
But regardless, it was all very, amusing in some ways. They would even post it. I feel like the agent should have just been like, well, just tell him he posted it. It's fine.
Yeah.
That said, later on we see that he's actually getting copies of this magazine in, so
he's seeing that they are posting them. Yeah, he's getting the proof.
They could also equally just not give him those. So, but hey, admittedly, they are held accountable for their actions.
They are indeed.
Because we have their evil boss, who I think is clearly someone we're setting up for when the gang gets back. This plot thread, I think, is something for arc number 2. I think I saw somewhere that this first arc's 10 episodes. I could be...
It's a long arc, but I'm down.
I could be wrong. Well, it kind of makes sense. We're already 5 in. And
yeah. I mean, even last year, the first one was a bit longer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 8 versus 7. Yeah.
So makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe they just have 2 arcs this year. They've got 2 slightly longer ones. But,
yeah, it could be.
But... So we have Fitz, and he's trying to figure it out. And the funny thing is his final little last attempt, when he's exhausted every possible opportunity, and he's thought of these different ideas, he just kind of throws up his hands and goes, I think I know what happened. They were abducted by aliens. And technically...
Yeah, we get a good chuckle, because we saw, dude was an alien.
Yeah, dude alien kidnapped him.
Dude's wearing skin.
Yep. Enoch, we find out his name is, actually. We got a name for him. It reminds me, just for people who have watched Fringe, there was some...
I was going to check if it was the same actor.
It's not the same actor, but he has a very observer look to him.
It's a similar presence as well, like that he's got, the way he holds himself. Yeah,
but bald man in a suit, no eyebrows. It's very observer, but... Yeah. So he's been sending out these hidden messages, and they get a call, his lawyer's here, right? He's like, what, here? Really? What's happening? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I just remembered who's supposed to be showing up soon.
Yeah.
There's just a moment of realisation on my face, and then in walks Hunter, who I've not seen since season 3.
It's glorious.
Big grin on my face. Of course, the music hypes it up as well. The main theme kind of kicks in as he walks in the room. And it's like, oh man, it's been so long since we've seen Hunter. And... Fitz is like, all right, well, I've got a plan. And there's obviously they have this really great little hugging moment where Fitz is just sniffing him almost, just like...
Yeah, and he's berating him about not getting his message quick enough.
Human contact. Well, yeah, because he's like, I was in, what was it, what was he? I can't remember what country he said he was in.
Bangladesh or something.
Yeah, I think so. He's like, "Do you know how many copies of that magazine that are around in Bangladesh?" Yeah, none. Yeah, I only seeked it out once I'd heard you'd been missing.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I did find like this is something often when you have multiple British characters together in an American show, I find it can sound awful.
Because you've got an American writer, and
I think this is what they'll sound like. But when you got the two of them talking about the football, he's like, "Oh, you don't have to call Liverpool wankers and stuff." That is the sort of thing you just that's right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will question their taste and their pastimes because I can't stand football. But yeah, I think it's the sort of thing where I think what would be smart for a writer on that show would be when you get the actors on set, if they say, "Hey, I'm going to rephrase that line because you want us to actually have this to sound authentic."
Yeah,
I think
just even things like calling Liverpool wankers. It's like, yeah, that is quintessentially British.
Why do you say so British so proudly when you say it?
No, that wasn't proud. It was just like that
was
just
how you
exactly
British.
How it is.
You say it all. I don't know. It's weird.
Didn't sound weird to me.
I don't know. I don't get anyone who's proud of their country. It's weird. Patriotism's stupid. Anyway,
you have just offended a lot of people.
Everyone. There's not a single country on earth that I didn't offend with that statement.
No, I know. I mean specific people who are very patriotic.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Where was I? Oh, so yes. It sounded fairly authentic. But Fitz is coming up with all these plans to get out, and Hunter's just like, just move to the left a bit, and then you know what's about to happen. I mean, I was thinking there was going to be like something from the ceiling. I was thinking like a vertical beam or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because Fitz cracked a joke about beam me up, Scotty.
That's what I was thinking as well. It was the way he was like getting him I was like, is he trying to get him in a specific place?
Yeah.
Rather than just out of the way.
Yeah, because he sort of moved him twice as if he was getting it really exact, but it was just out of the way. That corner's about to blow. So hole in the wall, pretty simple. And they actually make a really there's a running joke in this episode about this guy that Hunter hired to help get them out being an awful pilot. Because you see the helicopter comes that's our way out, and this helicopter's flying towards him, and it just sort of tips forward and falls down and explodes.
Yeah. I will say the effects on the helicopter a little bit wonky.
The helicopter was, the explosion was not.
Yeah, interestingly, you're right.
Because I remember thinking, that helicopter's a bit rough. Oh, that explosion looks okay. I actually had that kind of sequence of thought.
And it's rare now that I find myself mentioning the effects being rough on S.h.i.e.L.D. There was a time where it was all kind of rough. But they're mostly pretty good now. I mean, this season particularly has been really solid out in space.
Yeah, I think they got away with it a little bit because they intentionally had the helicopter really far away. It was a really far shot.
They did.
So they're probably trying to save money there because they, obviously they've got a lot of other things to do in this show right now when it comes to effects. Exactly. The fact that they can shoot most of this episode in locations and not sets is probably especially since the rest of the arc is probably going to be in sets in space.
Yeah.
So, so they go. They've got this RV, and they're going, and there's a bit of small talk. Where's Bobby? And this conversation annoys me a little bit whenever this happens, where we just don't have the actor and they have to write in a reason for it. It always just feels really thin to me. I can just see we just have to explain why she's not here.
Yeah, I mean they made the best of it, I think, in kind of having it played as a joke. Because we do it together, just not always.
Yeah, because I was worried we were going to say, we split up just for the sake of that's why she's not here, because it would have felt kind of mean. Yeah. So I'm glad they didn't do that. But I always just kind of roll my eyes and go, okay, I know it's not your fault. You don't have the actor.
No, and that's the thing. And I get that they had to address it because Fitz would ask. But what I will say is this scene, Hunter kind of going on about a few of the things he's been up to. I went, oh man, I wish we'd had that show.
Yeah, it's basically describing the spin-off that they never got.
Yeah, I was like, I wish I'd seen
Ninja showed up at her wedding.
I would have got to that. I was like, oh my god, how did I not see this? How did this not happen?
It's a shame. So they go into hiding, and Fitz is like, okay, we need to track the truck. The one thing he's got to go on, the only thing he knows at all, was the beer truck that was outside the diner at the time. And they retrace it. They get security camera footage from all the traffic cameras, and they're looking at them all. And they keep seeing a truck, and I'm like, guys, it's the same truck. I know the sign's different, but just think about it. It's the exact same. And luckily, the computer he was on had a nice little thing that compared the size of the trucks.
Could have just checked the model of the truck.
Yeah, I feel like you could have just eyeballed that.
I agree. I think the one thing that I will say is, we're going, it's the same truck. I understand them not jumping to it at first because most companies, like there's a standardized truck for these sort of things that everyone uses.
Oh, sure, but the fact that they're going to the next traffic camera, they're looking around for it. Oh, it's a truck that looks the same with a different sign. They do it again, same thing again. Like,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I feel like, come on, guys, pretty well. And I think actually, did we? I think we saw that, didn't we, in the first episode when we had that whole opening scene? I think we saw it change like there was a kind of a screen that was changing on the outside.
I don't recall.
I think we did. I think we saw that.
You might be right.
I think we saw it when Enoch was coming to get them. So they trace it back to where this guy lives, this Enoch, and they show up. They're all stealthy. They're coming in behind him, and he's just like, "I've been expecting you. There's no need for any surprise." He's like, "Come on, no, we're supposed to surprise you." I've forgotten how much I'd loved Hunter. Like, he's like, "No, we're supposed to surprise you.
Let us have this one."
Yeah, let's do this. And it turns out Enoch's actually quite helpful. He's not villainous, at least not seemingly anyway. He's done this because it's the prophecy, and they're there to do this. And he's the one who flat out says, "No, they're." I think we actually got it was 74 years in the future. It was very specific.
Yeah, it's 2091 that they're in.
Yeah.
Because I know we were questioning a couple of episodes ago just how quickly had all this happened. We said it might have because I was saying how it must have been relatively recent if it was still. If Daisy was the one that did it, but then a lot of the humans don't seem to remember anything about Earth.
I don't know why it has to be relatively recent if Daisy did it. What difference does it make if it's been 500 years?
I don't know. It didn't seem like it had been that long. I think I remember saying like I remember having this discussion. There was a reason that I gave at the time that I can't recall.
It could be 10,000 years in the future, but if there's a painting on a wall saying that someone named Quake did it, then Quake.
No. I remember there being a reason at the time. I just don't remember what it was now.
Yeah, convenient. Anyway, so that's interesting. It's an interesting time period. It's relatively quick. It's sort of like it's quick enough that it's not I mean, yeah, we won't live to see that year probably. Highly unlikely.
Speak for yourself.
Your diet's worse than mine. You're a goner.
Yeah, but I'm it's sub 100. I'm good.
You think you're going to make it to 100?
Medical science will catch up.
Yeah, we're just hoping by the time we hit 50, like there'll be nanobots and all sorts. And
I'm good. Science has got my back.
Sure. But I think it's close enough that, like, for example, if there's a child in present day, they might still be alive in 2091.
They just might.
Not that I'm referring to anyone specific. Maybe I am. We'll find out in a minute.
Who could possibly?
But, they could still be alive. But at the same time, it's far enough where you get that anyone... Because they also mentioned that the Kree were killing anyone who, the older generation who spoke about the S.h.i.e.L.D. coming or anything like that. So I buy that anyone under a certain age doesn't know much about the Earth.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we don't know how soon it happens, but you get the sense that it's probably relatively imminent.
It has to be, otherwise Enoch wouldn't be doing all this.
Yeah. So, no, and he takes them to the Lighthouse, and we actually find out that this place they're in space was already on Earth. This structure. And there's actually a sort of fun running joke here where they keep asking them questions. What is this place? Unknown. Who built it? Unknown. When was it built? Unknown. All unknown.
How deep does it go?
Yeah. How far down does it go? Unknown. So that's where they're actually in. So they were literally under a lighthouse on Earth, and that's kind of where it is. Like, there's just obviously when Earth got blown apart, it just started to float, and it functions as is. So that's really interesting, and I like that mystery. And again, that mystery could be something that's actually not part of this arc. That could be something we explore in the second arc, perhaps.
Could be, yeah.
Might not be, but I just it's the sort of thing where maybe we'll deal with that when we're back in time.
Yeah, it's something we can deal with even in a future season if they so choose.
Yeah. But no, I thought that stuff was really interesting, and we find out some various things, and we find out who this seer is. He keeps talking about the seer. There's this person who's given them the prophecies, and that's why he's doing all these things. And he even shows them footage of the monolith, and he's like, "Oh no, I can't turn it on. It can only be turned on from the other side. I just knew when it would be turning on." Which begs the question: who turned it on?
That is a good question.
Assuming
it could be him, just in the future, because he seems to wait the long way around.
Yeah,
and obviously he's been there a long time.
Yeah, it could be him. He wasn't really around though at the time.
Was it? Why not?
Like at the station, I mean, at the lighthouse when they all arrived. Doesn't mean he wasn't there. We didn't see him.
I mean,
though.
yeah, that's. I mean, he's on a ship. It doesn't mean he's not traveling back and forth.
Okay. Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah, maybe we will.
But yeah, so we see this seer. It's a little girl, and I was thinking, that mum looks kind of familiar, and I couldn't quite place her.
Yeah, and Fitz knows who she is immediately.
Yeah, and I was like, man, am I forgetting something really obvious here? And he sits down, and then next to the little girl who's like drawing stuff, she's got her crayons out. The little wooden bird, and I'm like, oh, I know who this is.
And that's the great thing about showing us the bird, because they know, okay, you might not remember her face.
Oh, yeah.
We see loads of guest people, but you see that and you know exactly who it is, and that's all you need.
And that was a fantastic episode as well in season 3. That was
it was.
That was a great episode in season 3. So bringing this back up is fantastic. And our dad was like someone who saw things. Admittedly, it was only in really specific circumstances, but it seems like she's just seeing things left and right. She's getting all these thoughts and feelings, and she's drawing them out as she goes. Even the agents who are hunting them, like kind of like sort of realise this, because the drawing in the fridge is actually of them standing in the kitchen.
With him eating the green apple.
Yeah, so all these things are really well set up, and you kind of get it right away. And the agents are coming, and Enoch does his little time trick where he pauses everyone, and then the agents are just standing there, and everyone's guys like, it's been half an hour. What's going on?
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And to find it out, and I think for me, I like Fitz's. He's still, obviously he's got what he did in the framework in his head, and he's like, do I deserve to be with them? Why am I not with them? And he's telling Hunter about this, and he's like, hey, I saw a little bit of that when you went a bit nuts with Enoch. You kind of like threatened him to get him to go along with the plan, and Enoch even points out afterwards, like, you didn't have to do that. I would have been willing to help. And he's like, yeah, there's a bit of me, and there's like, well, I'm not going to say I don't like seeing you like that, but I've known you long enough to know you're not some cold-blooded killer. That's just because you have a darker side doesn't necessarily mean that that's who you are.
Yeah.
And I like those moments. It was nice having this. Like, it was like an old friend coming back in, and it had this campfire dynamic because they were all in sleeping bags, even though they were in a building.
Yeah.
It had that kind of vibe to it. And I have to say, I do love the moment when he goes over to the little girl and he says, he talks to her mum for a bit, but the question is, why did I not go with them? Because Enoch's answer was, because you weren't in the prophecy. Like, you weren't supposed to go with them. So then he has to ask the girl, why did I not go with them? Why was I left behind? And she hands him this photo, a drawing.
Picture. Yeah.
Of some really scary looking dudes. Just from what you get, big claws looking, sort of really black figures with these big silver claws. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Some aliens, I imagine. And she simply says, because you have to save them.
Yeah.
There's also dead people in the middle, which I assume are at least Simmons, if not others.
Yeah, it looked like there was two women standing over the other woman, and the two women with the darker hair, and then the lighter was on the floor. I assume that's Simmons on the floor, and then maybe Sky and Yo-Yo above her.
I wonder if it's actually just shown as the arena, the combat arena.
Could be.
It could be that simple, and maybe just like her alien drawings just represent the other aliens, even though they're actually blue and whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm actually thinking, no, we're going to get this big Claude thing at some point. Which we might.
It could go either way.
I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling out the big Claude aliens.
No.
But I thought it was a really sweet moment. And then the plan starts to come, and the Enoch's like, hey, right, I came to Earth a long time ago. My ship was discovered, and there's a point. I mean, they don't actually find out until after they've got it, because I think up until they actually we get it back and they're talking about it, you think, oh, is this like some other time travel thingamajig or whatever? Like, they never specify. They keep it intentionally kind of out of the obvious, and they have this whole thing where they have to break back into the same base where he was being imprisoned to get it, and there's some fun stuff. They got the ferrets coming out the.
I knew it was the ferrets. As soon as they're taking them out, and Hunter's swinging around, he's like, "Careful, you'll one wrong move will lose a limb." I was like, "It's the bloody ferrets, isn't it?"
I have no objections to the ferrets
I'm down.
Being important to the plan, but they're getting inside to grab this thing, and they're like, "Oh, we have to go back to the truck," and they're like, Nah, I don't think we need one. And then they look up, and it's our goddamn plane. Our jet.
Quinjet.
Quinjet, there you go. And it's like the main theme plays. Like there's this emotional version of the movie. It's like, oh, I can't believe I'm getting emotional because we've found the Quinjet, but I am.
I know.
It doesn't matter. It works. It's great. And they even was it the Acers they call the guns that we've had since season 1 that Fitz designed. Who, by the way, when the soldiers show up, Fitz is he's learned to take care of himself a little bit.
He has. I mean, he's always had S.h.i.e.L.D. training. We know that. I'm wondering, is this like almost muscle memory from the framework?
Maybe. I mean, we never really saw him get into a lot of action in the framework necessarily.
We didn't,
either.
But he always felt much more capable, didn't he?
But he dual wields. He goes nuts.
He does. And he's like, hey, Hunter, go start the engines. Get us out of here. And and it's like, yeah, maybe I should stay here.
And you should do the technical things. So just go.
Go. Yeah. And he has a great sequence.
Yeah, it's a good little action sequence. And it's funny, this episode flew in so much, I had no idea I was getting towards the end at this point.
Okay.
I really had no idea. I was so into it, and I really thought we were going to get more out of him after he woke up, even though whatever. But we get back, and sure enough, this is a cryopod. This is a cryo sleep chamber. And I'm like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Best part about it, though, is because they're inside the lighthouse. He takes something out of the wall. He makes a compartment in the wall and stocks in some supplies, some weapons, most notably the shotgun axe.
You say most notably the shotgun axe. I did notice a couple of Coulson's hands in there.
That's on them first, but no, the shotgun axe was the big finishing thing. That was
it was, but it was when he goes, oh, I'll make sure they're fully armed. I was like, well, could have at least made a hand joke. I'd have appreciated it.
I really don't care. I cannot wait for this scene, and I kind of hope they're all there for it, right? When they're in the lighthouse, like they've seen him and they're all shocked that he's there, and he just goes up to like this wall somewhere and takes a sledgehammer to it, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing, Fitz?" And he just pulls out the shotgun axe and throws it to Mac.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Fitz, I love you." I can't wait. I want that moment of them thinking, "What the hell is he doing?"
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
And then he pulls out all the stuff. I mean, you could. I'm going to assume that those weapons would be durable for the 70 years. I don't.
I mean, sure. All the stuff inside the chest, definitely, because it's protected.
The
shotgun axe, I mean, depends.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi show. He made it. I mean, I'll take it.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I just imagine that there's naturally, after decades and decades, there's some natural.
It would depend on the environment, wouldn't it? The atmosphere, because it'd be like rust and stuff like that. So it would depend on, okay, is it moisture heavy, or if it's kind of kept contained, dry, and just on its own.
Yeah, maybe Fitz has thought this through. Maybe he knows that it'll be fine.
He's a very smart man. I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
That said, if we get a joke when Matt gets the shotgun axe and it doesn't fire.
Oh no! What'll be funnier is if he goes to swing with the axe and it shatters.
That's not funnier.
It is funnier.
That's not funny. Don't break the axe. At least if it doesn't fire, you can still use the axe.
Yeah, but the axe will be more heartbreaking to him. Because now he'll be like, it's just a shotgun.
This is so stupid. What are you arguing with me on here?
Oh no.
But no, so he goes to sleep, and of course, I assume you like the Star Wars joke.
I mean, I know I said that I felt last week was sort of a reference with the the helmet, the bounty hunter thing, and you conceded that it could have been. This was just straight up there. This is as on the nose as they get with the referencing.
Yeah, and of course there was a nice come back around thing where they hug again before he goes to sleep, and this time it's actually Lance that's holding on to the hug a bit too long. So that is good stuff. Now I like that. Obviously, we set up how evil this army lady is. I didn't quite catch her name in this episode. I'm sure we'll learn more about her when we come back to this time period. But she shoots the other two. She's like, "No, I'm not even demoting you. Just boom, boom."
Yeah.
And who is she talking to? Because she talks to someone. She gets on the phone.
She does.
So she's answering to someone. I'd be curious to see who that villain. Because I don't think she's the main villain. I think she's working for who the main villain is going to be.
Oh, definitely.
In the next one. Because I mean, she's okay, but she's not that interesting. At least yet, anyway.
At least not as of yet. No.
Yeah. So that's fine. And will Talbot wake up from his coma? You know, does he get enough off days from Supergirl? Interestingly, Supergirl and S.h.i.e.L.D. do actually share another cast member that pops back and forth.
They do, don't they?
Yeah. It's a small part, admittedly, but she does kind of pop back and forth all the time.
She's an agent on both.
Yeah, she's practically got the same role. She probably just keeps the same outfit on. They just take off the S.h.i.e.L.D. logo.
Change the patch.
Yeah, that's literally all they do with her outfit. I don't know. I don't think S.h.i.e.L.D. shoots in Vancouver, which is the weird part about it. At least if they were close by, I'd think, oh, she just runs across and.
Yeah, a lot of these shows do shoot in Vancouver.
I don't think S.h.i.e.L.D. does though.
I don't think it does. I've never been told it shoots there. I've never seen that.
Yeah, all the CW stuff all shoots in Canada. Vancouver. I mean, honestly, I think Vancouver's entire economy is like sustained by all the crew and the actors who go and live there for 9 months out of the year to shoot their TV shows.
It's true. It's a very popular place for network TV.
Yeah, because it's cheap.
It is. Presumably lots and lots of tax breaks.
Yeah. Although it's always funny when they make a mistake. There was an episode of Flash like 2 seasons ago where there was a giant Canadian flag in the background. And I'm like, you couldn't have just tried to CG that out a little bit?
Yeah. Idiots.
Mm-hmm. Or at least change the maple leaf to like a C for Central City and just pretend it's the Central City flag.
Yeah, they copied it. It's fine.
That's fine. It's fine. Or change it to a lightning bolt. Make it a joke.
Oh, that would have been better.
Yeah, it's a flash flag. Because of course it is. But yeah, so he goes to sleep and he wakes up. Our post-title scene is him waking up in the future on this little ship. Enoch's still there. He's just been around because he's an alien and he lives that long. And he wakes him up. And he's like, you're going to have to face some pretty big things here. It's going to be quite hard. Are you sure you've got it in you? And, we end with him looking very, Fitz is very stern and he's like, I've got it in me. And what I like about this is that it's using the experience and the framework in a really interesting way. This is like really, really good character development where it's like, it's not that he's a bad guy, it's not that he's evil, it's not like that's who he really is that was in there. But the idea that he has the strength to be the tough guy is
he has those memories and he knows what it's like, so he knows he can do it.
And don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's going to get to some sketchy situations. I'm sure he's going to get to the brink of his morality, and it's going to be like a real test for him, and maybe the others will have to pull him back. I can see there being some interesting things done with that. But I like this idea. I like that he... Do you know, it reminds me a lot of a certain character from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm going to say a name, maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't. Wesley Wyndham-Pryce.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
I know what you get. It's not the same, but
it's not the exact same.
No, I can see what you're getting at least.
Go back and watch the first few episodes of season 1 of S.h.i.e.L.D. and then tell me that he's going to be a badass who's basically the new Han Solo in space in season 5, and he's
no, I'm with you.
Yeah, like I think I mean the character development's good for all of them in this show, but I think they're really going to do a lot with Fitz's experience in that framework.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm excited to see how they play that off, and the things he's going to do to break the rest of them out. And like I say, I can't wait for that moment where he reveals he's got all those weapons stashed. I hope he doesn't say. I will be so disappointed if there's a scene where he tells them he's done it before they go and get them. I want them to look in awe as he pulls out, like,
just be confused as to what he's doing, and then just see them. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell's he doing? What the hell's he doing? And then you just see the shotgun axe fly across the room and like land in Mac's hand and be like, just the main theme plays.
Yeah, he pumps the shotgun.
Kind of like when he saw Fitz saw the Quinjet in this episode. I just want Mac to look at the axe and just hear the theme.
It'd be good, but be the space version.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're in space. It's all the space versions now.
Yeah. I think if you're doing that in a heroic moment, I think you still use the brass. You
can. Although it hasn't been this season, is all.
Well, it did in this episode.
It did in this episode, but this episode isn't in space.
Aye, but they can earn it. That's it. I'm only saying that because the main theme that's in the space version over the credits doesn't really have the heroic touch to it. It's a very dark, sinister thing.
It's quite mournful.
So, I mean, they could do another version, of course, that is still synthy, but has the other notes that will bring it back up. But I don't know. We'll see. It's not like s.h.i.e.'s theme got like a space version when that played for the right moment.
No, although there has been a variation still.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I love this episode. This was a really, obviously very focused episode. It was very much, and it was an exciting episode that I think we were waiting to see. We knew we had to get this at some point. It was perfect to do it after we just revealed them last episode. It's like, because immediately you're like, okay, let's go back and show how we got here.
Honestly, I was a little surprised that there was there wasn't as much time travel stuff in the past. We were thinking, oh, he's leaving a bunch of clues. After we got that postcard, we thought, oh, there'll be a few clues here or there. There'll be a handful of things that he's done.
Yeah, it's just one.
Not really.
Yeah, it's just one message. As much as I think we built it up in our heads, like there's going to be all this stuff that he does in the past that kind of affects the future. I think because it is just as simple as cryosleep, which is, it's not a real thing that exists yet necessarily, but it's something that we understand as a concept, and it's a simple idea, and I think it just works. Like, there's nothing about it that rings false to me.
Oh, no, not at all. When I say I was just surprised, I'm not disappointed. I like everything that it did. But like I say, we had expectations that were wrong, clearly. And there were not unreasonable expectations. We thought, oh, okay, here's one clue, there might be more. But they never said there was going to be any more. They never hinted at any more. So it was all on us.
Yeah, we just let our imaginations go wild. But like I say, it fits so well what actually happens. If anything, I'm just surprised it was as quick as it was. Like, I was almost expecting like 2 Fitz episodes before we got to space. But you have one setting up the mystery of him finding out and realising where they are, maybe by the end of it, and then the second one is where he sort of gets to the point where he finally gets to, if it is him in space. But then again, if he's already in space, he's going to bring it up, so you wouldn't have the mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't do that. But hey, no, super good episode. Liked it a lot. It was wall-to-wall good stuff, and obviously it gave Fitz a chance to shine because it was all him. And obviously, nice to see Lance again as well.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Great pairing between the two of them as well.
Yeah, and they mentioned that Lance and Bobby are going to take care of the kid and the mother, make sure they're safe. So it gives them something nice to do.
Conveniently, where we don't have to see Bobby.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Nick Blood signed for a multiple episode thing, so we should see him again.
Okay.
Probably not this arc, admittedly, given
where
we're going and ending up. But like I say, some really good fist pumping moments. Him walking in the room, them seeing the Quinjet. These were like yeah moments.
Yeah, definitely.
So, no, that's Agents of S.h.i.e.l.d. Episode 5. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. Otherwise, though, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?